I hit the button. Doesn't mean we're live yet, because that's how life works with Twitch. Until I get that notification on my phone, I don't trust it.
Nope.
Nope. And then I open it too, just for funsies. And it says we're live.
Awesome, so we're live. All right, let's do this thing. Greetings, guys, and welcome to beta episode, or episode 1 of Mothers of Geeks. I am Heather, one of your geeks this evening, and with me is the lovely, lovely Trey.
Hello, hello, hello.
So a while back, we decided that we're gonna be fun to start a podcast. We're geeks, we're mothers. Let's kind of combine those two in our unique personalities and kind of talk about what we like. So this is our first episode. Pretty excited about it.
We're very excited.
We are. So Trey, would you mind introducing yourself? Who you are, what you do?
So, I am Trey, also known as Trey on Twitter all through my WoW career. And I am, in my day-to-day life, a CAO, which is the Chief Administrative Officer. So, boring. But I get to do fun things because I get to make podcasts and play video games and do videos. But I'm a mom, obviously, to 2 wonderful kids. Remy and Logan, 6 and 3, got superhero kid names, so I think that's pretty cool. And I pretty much like to play PubG every night, Dungeons and Dragons, and I also storytell for our WOD group. And
Yay.
Myself, my husband, and our friend Al, we are the ones that started Geeks and Geeklets, and we're hoping to keep growing massive geekiness. So that's me. Now you, my wonderful friend Heather.
Awesome. Right. I'm Heather. Cyberwaif on Twitter, most social media. I'm also known as McCullough through in the world of Warcraft. Member of the AIE podcast. I'm a big component of that gaming community. Been there for like, I don't know, 7 years? Ever since Wrath. In my regular life, I'm a financial crimes investigator. Some days that's more. Some days it's some days it's much more interesting than it sounds. Other days it's really friggin' cool. So when I say crap like, hey guys, I need to go do some money laundering, I actually mean an investigation and not actually money launder, because then I'd have to investigate myself and that wouldn't be fun. No. My big passion when it comes to geeking is I love gaming. RPG. I've been playing with dice almost as long as Trey's been alive. It'll be 30 years, actually next month.
Woo-woo.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And as I explained to one of my gaming groups last night, remember when I only had 1 game a week? Well, now I've become a gaming whore.
How many games a week do you have now?
Sunday is Ravenloft. That just started, brand new. Where I've discovered the purpose of the party is to save the Paladin from her own stupidity.
Oh, what, goals?
Yeah. Goals, right. Because, she's very self-righteous.
Oh, well,
and not bright.
I think she's bright.
No, she's not bright. So that's on Sunday. What do we do it? We have a City of Mist campaign that's actually in person at our place on Mondays.
That's always fun.
Yeah, it's neat, and I'll usually cook up a storm, and we'll have a big game, and everyone around the table. That's more of a temporary game. We're just playing around with it. Got the beta stuff, and I might actually try my hand at running a game if my friend has his say in it, because he wants to play. I'm like, oh, yeah, with my copious free time, I'll run that.
All your free time.
All my free time. On Wednesday, we have Thursday Thunder, because it used to be Thursday, but now we're switched to Wednesday because of people's rating schedules.
That name doesn't match anymore.
It doesn't. It needs to be Woden's Day Woes or something.
What game is that then?
It's D&D.
Oh, is it D&D?
It's awesome. D&D, yeah. Yeah, it is the Thunder Kings, I think. No, not Thunder Kings. Yeah, it's a Thunder King campaign. We do that over Roll20.
Oh, okay.
Every other Friday, we have our wonderful D&D game with this beautiful woman and her husband Drew and our friend Al and a bunch of other miscreants.
Yes, we have fun in that game.
We do. And there might be some WOD stuff coming down the line that we're WOD stuff.
She is my secret chatter. Like, I just tell her all my ideas.
I've named myself the STD, the Storyteller's Dementor, because I look at the evil, I laugh at it, and say, hey, you know what will make it even eviler? Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this.
It's nice to have somebody to be like, here's everything in my brain. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of times it doesn't. You're like,
Right. Well, you think about it as a mom, as somebody who's married, you kind of want to share that stuff with your spouse, but you can't when you're running them in a game.
Right.
So
I can give clues, like, oh, something big's gonna happen, and at the same time I'm like, oh, I can't say a word. It will ruin everything.
Yeah. So it is nice to have that, and I love hearing what's on the back end, and then I'll listen to the werewolf game on the next when it gets out there. I'm like, that went out really well. I was looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I do like that. That game's a fun game. I enjoy it.
It is.
It's been emotionally challenging at times for the players, but I think that's fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Last 2 weeks ago was devastating.
But it's fun devastating. I mean, to me.
Because
to me, I'm like, woo!
Let me take my friends and emotionally wreck them.
I have master goals.
Yeah.
You know? And you see boy chat. They deserve to be wrecked.
Oh, yeah. Hey, they did good today.
1,000.
1,000! Yesterday was 0. Anyways.
Yeah, you're almost in as many games as Clay.
Yeah, but I spread it out, and it's not like, well, I can't, unfortunately, it's not like, okay, Friday night's always busy, Saturday night's always busy. Right. It is spread out, and like the City of Mist game is dependent on schedule. The other D&D game is dependent on schedule. So like this upcoming week, I don't have anything scheduled until Friday. Until
D&D.
Yeah. So, which is really nice.
Well, yeah, that is nice. It is nice to know your schedule ahead of time, though, because like that's the thing with games. You have, especially tabletop games, you're dependent on them to be there.
Yeah.
If they're not there, you're like, oh,
I guess yeah. And so, like for me, because it used to be, I did this in college where I was in 5 games a week.
Wow.
It was crazy. I'm pretty sure I mastered in D&D. And that was back when it was all in person, over the table. Yeah. So I'm almost to that point, but it's all virtual. It's a lot more comfortable, and it's this game's every other week, and this game it can be a pickup in this game. So,
and that's nice. I mean, it's funny. And that maybe should be a topic we talk about, like next week, even the mainstream move from playing D&D at a table versus, I mean, digital.
Yeah.
Both my games are.
Yeah. So upcoming topic next week is RPGs in society and technology.
We could run a class. We should be adjunct professors.
Oh my God.
Oh, goals.
Yeah, we need to work on that.
Life goals. That's what I think we should do. I would go to that class.
Oh, definitely.
Like, I'd go and be like, Heather's turn tonight. I'm going to sit and listen.
Right. We go through, between the two of us, 45 years of gaming history.
That's a lot of years.
That's a lot of years.
We'll divide it by 2. I'll take half that.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, can't math because I math all day. I'm not going to concatenate that.
We're mathing. Don't math anymore.
Yeah,
I math
too. Yeah.
We're good.
There was too much math and then teaching. All right, so I think we kind of went over like what we did geek-wise. There were a lot of gaming. What's like the coolest geek thing you did this week?
This week, the coolest geek thing. I didn't get a chicken dinner this week in PubG, so like, I know. What is he doing? It has been a bad PubG week.
I thought that was Drew's job.
It is Drew's job.
Yeah.
There is no PubGing. We have a new follower. Hello. Welcome. Hello, City. Welcome. Yeah, Drew, I'm not going to lie. I try really, really hard in PubG. I have never played a game like that before. Just never have. It's never been my thing. I'm not a shooter person. I'm a horror player. And God, at 9 o'clock, we're going to be playing some horror games. So, like...
Ooh, Thriller Thursday.
Thriller Thursday, but it's, like, that's what I play. That's my thing. It's my niche. Playing this game where I'm running around and killing people is difficult for me.
But it's also a really good release after a day of dealing with people, a day of, well, I can't smack you because you're stupid, so I'm going to blow something up tonight.
Oops, I shot my partner.
Oops.
Who would ever do that?
Was it Al?
No. Never.
Okay.
Yes, I have, like, multiple times. Welcome,
yeah.
Chris. Thank you for the follow.
Thank you, guys.
It's funny because you come into a game where it's a, totally male-dominated area, and you wreck face, and you feel really good about it, and then you realize you could do better when you have no chicken dinners all week. So my best geeky moment was, I'm gonna do a weird geeky moment this week.
Sure.
Watching the movie Split. We haven't sat down and watched movies for a while, and recommend. I would give it like an 8 out of 10, which is high for me because I'm kind of a movie snob sometimes.
Right. Well, I know we were talking about M. Night Shyamalan the other day, and
I hate him.
And yeah, right, and that's one of his, correct?
Yes, it is, and it's weird because it didn't do what he always does, the what a twist thing.
Right.
And I'm so used to that. He let me down with The Village and The Happening and pretty much everything he's ever done. So it's nice to be like, oh my gosh, I like an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Right.
Don't tell anybody. That's a dirty secret.
But it's nice that he's getting back to form in a little bit of something that you might not expect, but perhaps not in the same way.
Exactly. So that's fun. How about you? What's your geekiness this week?
Oh gosh. See, and I prompted the question. Oh, okay. So it's actually a geekiness tomorrow.
Oh.
And it goes, so we are T minus 22 hours from tattoo.
Yay!
Right. I'm very excited. And it's a Geeky Tattoos, but it's a weird subtle geek.
Okay.
So I'm getting it was going to originally be a purple rose on my shoulder.
I love purple. I'll promote it.
Right. But I decided I wanted to make it actually, instead of just purple, because inspired by you, I wanted to do some of the watercolor stuff and wanted to do it for a while. And I kind of like the idea of the galaxy.
Love them.
Right. So, yeah.
Love
Gorgeous. If you're listening on podcast, Trey's showing off her amazing art. But the reason that the purple rose is geeky is I played a character many, many years ago named Von Darklighter. She eventually worshipped the god Ariok from the Melnibonian mythology from Elric. But before that, it was a homebrew campaign.
Okay.
She worshipped a theater god that my DM had made up named Daenerys.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that was his symbol, was a purple rose. If he really was moved by a performance, he left a purple rose that never bloomed and never died.
Oh, I love that. That's so sweet.
Yeah. So that's why it's geeky, but it's kind of spiritual because kind of floral. And then the character became a theologist.
Oh, cool.
Which is bizarre for a thief, and she realized all the gods, all the pantheons had faces in other pantheons, and the god she worshipped as a youth was actually the god she worshipped as an adult.
Oh, that's neat. I like that.
Yeah. So it's geeky because usually my left side is geeky, my right side is spiritual, but it fit better with the right side with the spiritual, and then the galaxy and the stars and all that, and there might be a slight carry-in from my current warlock too, who's a starlock.
Oh,
so
that's exciting.
Yeah, so that's I can't wait to see. I'm looking forward to it. So that's my geeky thing. Otherwise, a lot of gaming. My paladin stood up to Strahd, and I made my save. This little third, this little third level paladin. Because we're doing Curse of Strahd. Our warlock had gotten charmed by him, and he bit him. Oh. And she pushed the warlock out of the way and stood up to him, basically said, "Get the heck out of here." And I made the save.
I'm so proud of you.
To not get charmed. And it was really cool.
That's awesome.
So that was my other fun,
geeky thing.
Yeah. Because, sometimes those dice, especially after Friday when the dice hated us.
Right. Oh, we had dice trouble. We had 2 botches in game, guys. Dude, what is that?
Yeah, it makes you Al, is what that is. A perception botch. Sorry, Al, we love you.
A perception and a puke botch.
A puke botch, we both missed that one.
It got in my armor. It's gross.
It was gross. All right, so one last kind of fun thing, since we both have geeky kids.
We do.
Any fun geeky kid stuff this week?
So, and I was just telling you this before.
I know, it's great.
My daughter is obsessed with Guardians of the Galaxy. She's 6. Now she's obsessed with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And in love with Star-Lord. If she could marry him, she would. Like today. I mean, I don't know many people that wouldn't.
Trey gets Iron Man and Miss Remy gets Star-Lord.
Exactly.
We have to share Iron Man, though. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I can share.
Okay. He's rich. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. Fine.
So we're watching it before here, and we saw it in the theater. She knew what happened. Spoiler alert. Wait for people. Yeah. If you haven't seen the movie, turn the channel. La 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 la
la la la la la. Mary Poppins.
Okay, Mary Poppins dies.
Yeah.
I cried in the theater.
Oh my god.
It was really emotional. I don't know why. I was like, oh my god, horrible in theater. Watch it downstairs. She had a breakdown, like sobbing, crying, and I was like, what's happening? And then I'm crying more. So it was neat because she's like getting so attached to these characters that I feel attached to. And when they're younger, they don't get that. They don't have that feeling about these characters, these people that are fake, but that was my fun. I mean, it was kind of sad fun.
But it's good. It's good. It's a fun mommy moment to share between the two of you, and it's bonding over something you both love, and it's geeky.
Yes. How about you?
Yeah. Oh, geeky? And I forgot. Okay, and I forgot to say something, by the way, about we're talking about your kids have comic book names.
Yes, they do.
Mine does too, in a weird way.
Oh, really?
Her name is Ryan. It's Rhion.
And I love it.
It's a really cool name. But I made up the name more than 20 years ago because we were doing a campaign off the Days of Future Past storyline from the X-Men.
No way.
And the character I played was Ryan Summers, and she was the daughter of Alex Summers, Havoc, and Polaris, Laura Dane.
That's awesome.
And Ryan was born around the same time that the character would have been born.
That's crazy.
So mine has a comic book name as well.
Yeah, we have Ryan, Remy, and Logan. See?
Yeah.
And we're all like X-Men.
Exactly. Right, which is really cool.
Which is cool.
So my geeky kid stuff, this is great. Sunday, so school started on Monday. My daughter is a hardcore Hufflepuff. She owns it. It's adorable.
As long as she owns it.
She loves it. She's a very proud Hufflepuff. I'm a Ravenclaw.
Slytherin.
I know. And right. Well, again, that makes sense. You love things that are a little on the darker side, a little conniving. You're a storyteller.
Exactly.
You like to do a little bit of manipulation, and it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Being Slytherin doesn't make you evil. Hell, you're the only good person at our D&D party.
Yes.
Sorry, dear. Okay, so we're sitting there, and I think I'm prepping some food or something, and I'm like, well, that's funny, Ryan. What's your favorite color? Blue. And what's my favorite color to wear? Red, and you really like yellow. Like, right. So think about it. What's the primary color of your Hogwarts house? Yellow. What's the color of my Hogwarts house? Blue. She stops for a second. Hey, that's some real Illuminati shit right there.
You're like, it is. Thank you.
It is, and then I pause for a second. I'm like, how'd you hear about us?
How'd you know?
How'd you know? So, which then she proceeded to fall off the chair of laughter. So the fact that my 15-year-old already knows the Illuminati makes me exceptionally happy.
That makes me happy too.
Yeah.
That's so great. That's so great.
Oh. So that was my fun geeky kid stuff this week.
That's awesome. See, like geeky kid stuff is fun because you like notice it more as a geek parent. You're like, nobody would get that if they said that out loud.
Right.
And like outside of my house.
And I can tell you, as the more senior of the geek parent, you'll notice as the kids get older, their friends are gonna be like, "Wait, your parents are into this?"
Yeah.
It really stuns Ryan's parents. Like I have a booth at Phoenix Comic Con, and one of her friends who she knows through cosplay club, came over and she's like, "Hey, what you doing here?" You know, she's talking to Ryan. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm helping my mom's booth." Like, wait, your mom made all this? It's like, yeah, she's a lady right there, dressed in steampunk.
Which I love.
Yeah, I love steampunk. And like her friends will come over and they'll watch anime or they'll do stuff, and I'll get involved in the conversation. I'll sit there and watch it with them, and it's neat having that connection, and it really helps you connect with your kids. It builds a great trust with them, and their friends too, because they're comfortable with you and comfortable hanging out and talking to you about stuff that their parents probably don't get, or most parents don't get.
Right, and some parents don't get it, and that, it happens, right? But
oh yeah, mine didn't at all.
Mine definitely didn't at all.
And it's really hilarious because now my mom is getting into it because it's more in the pop culture eye.
Oh yeah.
So Marvel is more accessible. Star Wars is more accessible.
Right.
Neil Gaiman is my mom. Right. Yeah. Okay, you can have Tony. I get Neil. Okay. Anyway.
As long as Neil could write me poetry once a month.
Right. Right. Yeah, my mom's like, so I really enjoyed the show American Gods, so I bought the book. I'm like, you mean the book that I told you about 15 years ago? That book?
Right.
All right. And I really loved it. It was so different than the show. And so should I read Neverwhere or should I read Anansi Boys next?
Neverwhere.
I'm like, hey. Right. I'm like, hey, you're not borrowing my Anansi Boys because it's first edition and signed. Second, I would read Anansi. Right? Yeah. I didn't meet him in person though that time.
No jelly. That time.
I was in the same room with him, and there wasn't even a restraining order. A few months ago he was doing. Yet. However, if he's at a con that I am vending at, I can't say this. No, he was doing the book tour for Norse mythology,
which is very good. I really enjoyed it. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And he did one of the smaller theaters. He actually did a talk.
That's
and
awesome.
We got tickets. Yeah. So that was really great. Got to see that. But no, you actually sometimes if you keep track of his website, he actually you can buy them signed off of his website.
Oh, okay. I should do that.
Yeah. And when Anansi Boys came out, he one of my best friends got it for me. Aww. Also, he does he'll go to a airport or bookstores when he's on tour and randomly sign books as well.
Oh, I like that. He seems like a genuinely nice person.
He really does. God, like there's some writers that make me want to read. He makes me want to write.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. Correct. And then I get oh my gosh, I'll never be as good as him. Why am I even trying? And then I'm like, okay, no, you just have to write. Just put pen to paper and write.
He has a book about that. A View from the Top. Did you read that one?
A View from the Cheap Seats. Yes, it's wonderful. The third of it, is all essays about writing.
Okay.
That's really good. So that's the other one I have signed by him.
I need to read that.
That's the other one I have signed by him, and this was hilarious. This is right after he was here, and the sponsor for the tour here was a local bookstore called Changing Hands.
Okay.
And they often will host authors, and so they'll have them marked as being signed.
Right.
They'll have the books in a signed section. Of course, this went really quick. But there was a copy of A View from the Cheap Seats that they didn't have the little tag on it saying it was signed.
Nice.
And I was out with one of my friends one night, and she's like, she picks it up and she's like, Heather, what is that? Is that what I think it is? I'm like, yeah, that's Neil Gaiman's signature.
And I will give you my life.
No, not even that. And so I'm like, well, I wonder if there's some others that are just if he did them on his own because that's him.
Right.
And we couldn't find any others, and I was looking at everything. She's like, I like him, but you really like him? So what if you buy this and just give me your other copy?
Oh, that's so nice.
Right. So I'm like, yeah, because I want this book, and it has a signature, and that way you're still getting your book, and yeah.
I'm getting a signature. See, it works.
Yeah. So I have the two by him.
The only signature I have is from Rainbow Rowell. I went to a talk of hers. I don't know if you've ever read her.
No.
She did a book called Fangirl, and I happened to win it off Goodreads, like randomly. And it's about like a girl who is obsessed with this fictional character, and it was neat. Like it was a fast book, an easy read, definitely a YA book, but it really was good. And I ended up getting that signed. She has a couple other books. I got one of them signed for Remy. So it was, so someday I can give her this book and it's signed to her from this author that she may not love, but I think it was such a neat thing to meet her. I have pictures with her. The talk was really good. So nice. I know some girls around here that go to those kind of talks at Pitt campus. So they have a lot of them. Yeah. And the Carnegie, so that's neat.
Yeah. Oh, and Carnegie's such a great place to see lectures and all that. So that's exciting.
I like it. We should go to more.
And a lot of the cast at Hamilton went to Carnegie.
They did.
Yeah.
I want to go see Wicked. It's coming out this way, so.
You need to, yeah.
It's January.
Yeah.
January.
Yeah, you should. It's a really fun piece, and there's a lot of stuff that you don't see. And we both tend to go off on random Broadway stuff.
We do, because we're the only two that love it that much.
Yeah. There's actually, seeing it is so different than listening to it, because there's some stuff that you can't tell from what the music going on.
Exactly.
I won't spoil it for you, but it's really cool.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, there's a lot between her and Fiyero that you just don't see.
Oh, God, hearing his name.
His voice.
Everything about him. When she yells his name, that moment, you just like,
And your heart breaks, and
and you cry a little. You don't tell anybody you're crying in your car.
Oh, no.
You are.
So my Wicked cry is not bad, but I really have this thing. It's ugly. It's called the Hamilton cry.
I've never seen Hamilton.
Neither have I. I've listened to it, and I suggest listening to it.
I'll listen to it.
It's on. You can listen to it all on Spotify or YouTube.
Okay, I'll do that one.
It's an ugly cry. It's a ruin the mascara cry.
Like I just did.
Right. And depending on the mood, it starts from about 20 minutes before the play ends and just keeps going.
Oh. I'm still going to listen to it because I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I listen to audiobooks, and if there's one that's sad, like, I'll be crying in my car. And I know everybody's looking at me. I'm just like...
Right.
Why? I listen to... What's that? The Fault from Our Stars.
Oh, God.
Fault in Our Stars. Why did I say it wrong? I listened to that in the car, and I, driving to work one day, by the time I got to work, I was not presentable. My boss was like, "Are you sick?" I was like, "My heart's broken."
Yeah.
So that's what I get to do.
See, and I'll do that stuff because I have a very short commute to work when I do go into the office. It's more of listening to stuff at work.
Yeah.
I'm also been known to listen to the WAD game at work and just die of maniacal laughter.
Poor Remy. I'm sorry I took your leg. Sorry, Matt.
However, you're not sorry about the 2 arms and the heart.
No, just the leg. I'm really, really sorry about the leg.
And giving him the nightmare flaw.
Oops.
Yeah.
I think I said you could take that 1 dot of experience.
Such a kind and generous mistress.
I'm so nice.
Now that I've tormented all of your characters, here, have a point.
It's 1 free. You don't have to do anything. Just suffer in silence.
And have it torment you for the rest of your existence with this character.
Merry Christmas.
All right. So we have some news and just kind of some fun stuff that we found during the week to discuss. What do you want on this list here to go over?
I kind of like the last one.
Okay. And that's been a big talk of ours as of late.
Yeah. So, do you want to go with the first one?
I will grab that first one there, because it actually ties into our main subject, and we may babble on too long to even get to our main subject, and that's okay too.
How about we can save the 3 other newses? Let's do this one.
And let's do the bottom one. Let's do this one and the bottom one. Okay. I think the bottom one's pretty important. All right. Okay. So, remember a few weeks ago when the pictures from last week's episode of Game of Thrones got leaked online? Well, evidently HBO was the victim of a major cyber attack, and the hackers have upped the ante by releasing the emails. They basically were holding HBO for ransom, and that's why those pictures got leaked, which is pretty interesting. And evidently they got a month worth of emails from VPs discussing information on things like Game of Thrones, which has become this huge thing. And so I'm wondering, and they think there's more information that the hackers have gotten a hold of. They're doing a forensic review. Oh, this actually kind of relates to my job.
That's what I was thinking.
That's kind of fun. Yeah, yeah. So this is really kind of interesting. Cybercrime through hacking the network of the most downloaded and pirated show there is on television.
It's crazy.
It is really interesting. Yeah, so they claim they obtained 1.5 terabytes of data from HBO, including episodes of Game of Thrones, Ballers, Room 04.
I love Room 104, sorry.
I haven't heard about that. What is it?
Watch it. Oh, I love anthology series. I'm going to say
okay, so it's right.
I love ones that are not connected. Every episode's different. I think they're great.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just my thing. The first episode, freaky and weird. The second episode, what a twist. So
oh, good, yeah.
half an hour each of them.
Okay.
Fit them in right before bed.
Yeah. And, speaking of piracy, I do have access to, or not piracy, I have access to HBO Go from a friend. So, hey, I can definitely take a look at those.
But this is neat. Like, this whole, so I'm in cybersecurity stuff. I work in risk. I might be a CAO, but, my department is risk. So we deal with this, and I'm getting one of my masters in this field. I don't know if you even know that. I'm going to school for...
that's cool.
Information technology, cyber assurance, and security.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, my gosh.
So, this is one of the things we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Is these
we need to start our own company.
We should.
We should.
Ideas. Line Dog, you're watching. Write this down.
Yeah,
Idea. We'll start our own company. But it's neat how... Not neat. Neat's the wrong word. If you're geeky and you think it's neat to hack people and learn about the hacks, not do the hacks because I don't know how to do that. It's cool. It's cool to hear about this because you're like, how does HBO get hacked?
Right.
HBO. It's not like a mom and pop shop down the street. This
is
massive.
It's not, it's huge and it's really fascinating that you do have cybercrime at this level. Right. And the fact that, they're a target. It's weird. You would think things would be more secure, but then again, they aren't.
No, nothing is.
Yeah, especially, but this is pretty bizarre. We're holding your information ransom. It's very Black Mirror kind of stuff going on. Right?
I love it.
That's some Illuminati shit right there.
That's some Illuminati shit. That should be our tagline. That's some Illuminati shit right there. That is.
Right. I think our beta episode should really be called That's Some Illuminati Shit right there.
I'm going to change the name when I make the podcast and put it on iTunes. That's some Illuminati shit.
Well, that could be an episode title.
I like it. I think that's fitting.
Yeah.
So last news story before we go into our main topic is the Disney Netflix. So Netflix has most of Disney's items on it. We're talking Marvel, Star Wars, the old Disney movies. Things are on there. And actually, and it's funny because I do know that Disney moved a lot of their stuff to Hulu. So I haven't seen any articles. Yes. I haven't seen a lot of articles comparing the Hulu, but everybody's focused on Netflix. Right. So Disney will be removing their everything from Netflix by 2019. Right. Which is
I think no one noticed that. No one, all the talk we've had this week,
nobody
mentioned that date.
No.
Everyone's like, oh, they're moving it.
So I have two things about this. And I have two sides of this coin. One, I hate buying more services. I do. I have a household with 2 kids. We're going to need to get it. I am an adult. I need Netflix. I have to have it. So, we're kind of pincered in this group of people that will always... Al, stop. He said there's a face over my shoulder. There better not be. Oh,
stop it.
There's this, groups of people where we're going to have 2 kids that are going to want to watch Disney, and I'm going to have Disney and Netflix, and there's more money. And I get why they're doing it. Business-wise, why wouldn't you? That'd be dumb if you didn't.
Right.
But speaking of Al, that brings up a good point, because he asked a question are the Marvel shows moving? And I don't know.
I think the stuff that they have because Netflix makes those shows.
Yes.
So the stuff, so the Defenders, no, nothing I've seen shows that they're going to be moving those.
Right.
It makes no sense because they produce them.
Right.
So I wonder if it's going to more become, and that really is a great question, Al. I'm wondering if it's going to be more become like the Sony Marvel thing where they both share that.
Right. And it could be a good and bad thing. I mean,
right.
They're going to get people buying it.
Oh, yeah, no, totally. you have, yours are 6 and 3. Mine is 15.
And you'll still buy it.
Yeah. Then again, because that's the way we consume content. Because, like, we have Hulu, because you know what's on Hulu? Mythbusters. That's her favorite thing in the world. We have Netflix because everything is on Netflix. We have Prime because we have that anyway.
Right.
So no, I foresee definitely us, even though we have a teenager. Your chair's moving. Cute bum. Sorry. Oh wait, I just channeled honey. Anyways.
Oops.
So no, I think yeah, even though ours is a teenager, we're probably gonna use it too because the Marvels, even though we buy a lot of the movies. So here's a question. That's my question for you is how do you consume technology? There's a pretty girl.
My little one going to bed now.
She's gorgeous.
Thank you. Is
her favorite color purple like her mama's?
Pink, but she likes purple too, she says.
So when you consume content, like the Marvel stuff, the Disney stuff, so I think that's kind of what we kind of tend to gear towards a little more. Do you buy the DVDs? Do you buy the DVDs with the downloads? What do you buy?
We used to be solely DVD. I have like 550 DVDs that I will never get rid of because they're just there. Yeah. However, now I buy everything digital. So like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out Tuesday. We bought it that day. And it's on Prime. And it will always be there. And I like the idea of going somewhere, putting it on a tablet if I need to for a child, and it's there. Like it's instant gratification, and that's how it. That's how it is for us. I think. Right. I've always been that way. If I need something, I go get it. I hate to wait. Yeah. So our kids are kind of that way, I guess. Right.
Well, we will wait the 2 weeks between digital and DVD, but we always buy if there's an option to get that digital download of it with the purchase. We always the same way. Yeah. We want to be able to watch it on a device. We want to be able to watch it on the go. Even download it, put the disc away. If someone wants to borrow it, they can borrow it. Right. I think it's a holdover because we're trying to build that collection now. Like music, I just download most of the time.
I have so many CDs.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, I have so many CDs. It's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad. But I like the idea of having it whenever I want to watch it without having to start the DVD player. That's also laziness.
Yeah. And also, or the fact that your kids are going to probably be on. Yeah.
They move to room to room to room.
Right. And like for us, we only have one TV. So, yeah, it's weird. I know that's not normal.
We have way too many. We have above average, you have below. We average out then.
We average out. But that's great. So, hey, Raya's watching Mythbusters, and I really feel like watching this. All right, let me grab my tablet and go.
Right. Yeah, I like that. No, that's a good question.
Yeah. All right, so our main discussion. Game of Thrones, because that's what everyone's talking about, especially this week.
Oh, yeah. It was a great episode.
Great episode. I can tell, though, when you're watching Game of Thrones, because I get a text. It's usually fucking Daenerys.
I hate her.
I know you do.
So much. God, I hate her.
I know you do.
Oh, like, the anger, it builds inside me.
Yeah. So, but it's a group text, and usually it's one of the guys saying something, like, yeah, and I always know when it's on. And then I'm getting the side text.
I have the hidden side text from me.
Right.
That says, I hate them. I hate her. I hate everybody.
I used to like her, but why she not? So I'm gonna let you start this discussion because I know that you have some really cool ideas and some very interesting ideas, and it really kind of made me think about characters differently, which I respect and love.
Oh, thank you.
That's the truth. It's the truth.
So, okay, I'm going to start off by saying she was my favorite character in the entire show. Loved her from the first episode she was in. Her story is fascinating. What she has done for herself is intriguing. This season, and this season only, it was not even last season, I hate her guts. I think she's pompous. I think she's arrogant. I think she has an attitude problem. She came across the sea and changed her entire character completely for no reason. And a lot of people say she's just becoming the ruler. Horseshit. Horseshit. I even was told that she's becoming just like Cersei, and I like Cersei. And I do like Cersei because Cersei owns it. Daenerys doesn't own it. She has never owned it. All she has is 3 little words: bend the knee, and they all suck.
Oh my god!
Because she says it one more time, I want to punch her in the face.
Right.
Like, it drives me so insane that you can take a character that was so selfless and freed slaves, and, you know, what Jon Snow, when he said, again, spoilers, whatever.
Sorry.
When he said to her, what's the girl's name?
Melisandre. Yeah, I so her and the Red Priest, their names are so similar.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dickon Rickon.
I know, right? That was the best.
You mean her lovely confidant interpreter that I really, really was drooling at her costumes the last 2 weeks because they're so beautiful and I want them.
And I'm so glad she finally had her sex. However,
right? That's a whole different
thing. He said to her a weird question. When he asked her specifically, would she let you leave? And she said yes, she'd give me a boat and go. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all.
Yeah.
I think that she would think that as her confidant, as her translator, as being there. I think she thinks that yes, that would happen. I think if it came down to it right now, Daenerys is so full of herself that she'd be like, no, I need you.
Right. Well, and I wonder if the conversation happened, would it be the no, you can't leave, or sure, but I do need you here. And I think there's a difference between that. I would hope that it would be the yeah, but I need you as compared to the no. You can't go.
I think it'd be like that subtle thing that she started doing with Jon Snow.
Right.
It'd be, you know, I also hate her titles.
Right. Oh god.
Like a lot.
By the way, this is the text I got from my husband. Dragon Mom, best mom. No talk shit about Dragon Mom.
It's a boy thing. And
it's a boy thing. It is a boy thing. We've had this conversation.
It's fine. I honestly think that's fine. If you love her, you love her, you love her. However, I have noticed on Twitter, on Facebook, it is more the women that dislike her.
Yes. My friend Jen, she was like, which by the way, I would love to have someday
guest stars.
If we want to do some guest, right, because she's a geek mom. Yeah, I said her comment, yeah, when she's just kind of full of it, and I am noticing the gender divide on that.
And there's nothing wrong with that, and it could be.
No, not at all.
And I think it's maybe the differences between, and this isn't meant to be sexist or feminist or anything. It is like the male ruler sees that as a strong character and agrees with it.
Right.
Whereas the other person they can choose is Jon Snow, who most men don't agree with because he's a little bit effeminate. Right.
But what's something I was watching this last episode, and it was a really interesting contrast though between the 3 rulers that we're seeing. We have Dany, who, yes, did a lot, fought for what she had, but is now to the point where it's my birthright.
Right.
And this is kind of it's more of the telling instead of leading.
Agreed.
We have Cersei, which I know you love. It's fine. Because my girl wants to kill, because, your girl's number 1 on my girl's list, but that's okay.
It's fine.
Fine. It'll be an interesting battle. But where she's very much of the, I own it. Here is what I need to do. Here's what I have to do. Where she has that kind of weird tiger mother thing from hell.
Yes.
But now her kids are gone, so she's tiger mothering it. And if you think of the Lannisters, like Cersei, Jaime was supposed to be the golden boy. Cersei was never meant to be here. No. Ever. And here she is.
Yes.
So she's ruthless in a very different way.
Right.
And then you have Jon, where I think very much more leads by committee.
Yes. Leads by vote.
And leads by example.
And he's a genuinely good person too.
Yeah.
But he's always shown that side of him, that caring side. He's done what he could for his brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Aren't his brothers and sisters, and he almost killed Theon, which would have been hilarious last episode because of the indiscretions he put on his family. He considers them his family.
Right, but the fact that what he did for Sansa saved Theon.
Right.
So I think very much this last episode, and the dragons were amazing, the fighting was amazing. Nobody does a battle scene like Game of Thrones. No. Oh my god. No one does costumes like Game of Thrones, and absolutely those cloaks are all from IKEA. Oh my god.
I want one. We should make them. They come from IKEA.
I think we need to figure out how to get on set and steal some garb.
I think we should too.
Yeah. And then suddenly we show up at D&D night in some gorgeous
We're LARPing.
gowns. We're LARPing, right?
But I want to go back to that Cersei point, because you said I love her, and I never used to. Let me make this very clear. I know Cersei is bad. I know she is evil. I know she does things that are completely wrong. But I want to say one thing about that. I didn't like Cersei till probably when she was getting shamed through the street. That moment for me was like...
God, that's a heartbreaking moment.
Powerful. It was so powerful to watch that happen to her. And I really turned a corner on how I felt about her, because she does things out of necessity. Right?
Right.
What I think is, and this is probably completely wrong, I think that if it was Jaime in Cersei's place instead of Cersei there, if Jaime was the one doing these things, if Jaime was the one burning down the Citadel, if Jaime was, killing people out of vengeance, if he was taking charge in that way, I think we wouldn't be having the discussion. People would feel Jaime was correct in his actions. I do.
Which is very interesting. Again, perhaps that gender bias, what have you. Now, I will say there was a Jaime moment 2 weeks ago that I really honestly liked. When he was all ashamed that they were in bed together, and her handmaiden came to the door, and he's like, "Holy crap, I need to leave," and she's and seriously, it was a fun moment where Cersei's like, "No," she owns it.
Yes.
And she just kind of, robed and entered the door, and here's my brother, he's in bed. Yeah. I'm like, and that smile he got, and that was kind of a cool,
yeah.
I think in almost that way he recognized her power, which was really interesting. And I will have to preface, I have not read the books.
Same.
Right. And I know at this point they're very, very different creatures. I know there are people that see them as two different things. Some people that see them as companion pieces.
Right.
You know what I'm thinking, right? Okay. Because they'll tell you.
He'll tell you.
They'll tell you.
and I agree with that. I think, with that Jaime smile thing, it's interesting because I said this to somebody else. I don't remember who it was, but I said, they're in this almost abusive relationship with each other.
Yeah, yes. It is not a good relationship.
Not good. However, whenever what's-his-name dies and he had his way with Cersei, that was him in control. He has lost that control. From that moment, he has never had control anymore of their situation.
Right.
She is the one in power. And I think that it's a frightening dynamic.
It really is. Yeah, it is a not a good relationship. And I think... No. We'll see what happens with it. I don't know how it's going to play down. We only have 9 episodes of the show left at all.
Yeah.
We have 2 more episodes, I think, this first half season, then 7 next, or vice versa. I can't remember the season. This part is 7 or 6.
Yeah. Al had a good question. He said, so Dany's so powerful. Where is there for her to go? My thought is that she has nothing but to take over. Where her army is built, she has her forces amassed. So what's next other than to do that? And I do see your point. But I think my problem isn't the fact that she has to do that. I've known she had to do that. That's her.
Yeah, right. That's part of her destiny. And we had a really interesting conversation about destiny long ago, and how you're dealing with epic fantasy. There's destiny. And
I thought that was fine. But it's not that. It's the problem of her going, "It's my birthright. It's my birthright. It's my birthright." No. You earned it. Say you earned it.
Yeah. It's not because you're a Targaryen that you have this. Perhaps it's your destiny because you're a Targaryen. But yeah, you're right. Very much. It's her birthright, but it's also her power. She did the work. Her name did not do the work. Exactly. I think the name may have graced some palms.
A little. Yeah.
But she did this was her doing.
And she needs to own it that way.
Right. And very much
yes.
And very much like Cersei, this was her doing. This was very different doings. Cersei's was through manipulation.
And fire.
And unfortunately all of her children perishing, which is devastating as a mother. As a mother, that's where because you never doubt her love for her kids.
Never. Not once.
Which is weird, because she is an evil character.
And she is. However, when she got the sand snake and that scene, I cheered because you know what? She killed that innocent girl. Like her.
Right.
I was flipping. I hated them from that moment. I was
right.
like, I don't like them. And then I killed Oberon, and I was like, eek. So that was Drew's favorite character, but we're not supposed to talk about it because he gets really sensitive about that guy.
Sure, that's fine. It's fine.
But it's true. Like it's. Can she redeem herself for me? There's a possibility.
Yeah, and see, I like her.
Yeah.
So, but then again, you're dealing with two mothers. So I think very much like that. The day before, or the episode before this one, where we had the Battle of the Bastards. This was the Battle of the Mamas.
It was.
Very much. You had three, and then you had Grandma Terrell.
Right.
So it very much was a really interesting, and I think it's really cool how they do that.
I do too.
Where they do play on the dynamics of those different archetypes and very different faces of them.
Right. Right.
So obviously, Cersei's your favorite character. At least right now, what's one of your other favorites? Who do you?
Tyrion.
Right. Yes. Okay.
Love him.
Yeah. Tyrion's amazing. Like for me, I like the Starks a lot. I really do. Arya's my girl.
She's awesome.
And that fight with her and Brienne, oh my god! Where you're like, okay, so is she a squash? What kind of rogue is she?
Right.
Because that was one of the most gorgeous pieces of fighting I think I've ever seen.
It's beautiful.
And it was very much, you could see how they were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You could see the different maneuvers they were using, the different styles. And it really was a good idea of a strength-based fighter versus a finesse fighter with a lot of rogue in there.
Yeah, I like that. That was a good like D&D comparison because that's what they are. Like you can, and it's funny because we talked about that, and like the next day I saw like a picture of, I forget the name picture. It was like a D&D, the Starks D&D picture, and you're like, that makes sense. I do feel bad for Sansa because she has a weird brother who is totally three-eyed raven, and then she has Arya who has a list. You don't want to get on the list. We know this from WoW.
Not that list.
You don't want to be on a list.
Remy, how's that list?
How's the list going?
How's the list?
But it's true. It's
okay, wait, we need to say real quick, there's a character, Remy, who's played by our friend Matt, and there's Trey's daughter, Remy, and they're not the same person, and so sorry.
No, and when he's like, my character's going to be named Remy, and I was like, that's my daughter's name. He's like, is this weird for you? And I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I do love the show. I hope they keep Tyrion. I hope that he does some epic things because I think he has it in him.
He's a good character. He's really well written, well acted. And I know he's very different than, of course, from how he is in the books. But yeah, I think of them, I think he's the one that's actually kind of relatable.
Yeah, he's human.
Right, which is funny because he's the dwarf.
Right, but he's like the only one left that's superhuman. Like,
yeah, he's flawed as F.
Yeah. Like, Jon Snow came back from the dead. He's not human anymore.
Right. Oh, God. That one I sent you, and he came back from the dead, and yada, yada, yada. This is Jon Snow. He's the King of the North. Anyways.
I'd be King of the North.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. Yeah, Tyrion's great. But, yeah, the characters are rich. They're interesting. They're multifaceted. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, and I think where we do have, there's an interesting thing from those that did read the book, is because even, the first few seasons, they knew what was going on, or at least had an idea of how it was going.
Right.
But we're in
unknown.
no man's land.
Yep. Uncharted here.
Yeah. So here's like one of my thoughts about Game of Thrones, and we have to wrap up because I know you have Thriller Thursday in a few minutes. Okay, so it's weird. Thursday or Tuesday, I'm sitting at my desk, and I'm hearing conversations about Game of Thrones. It's become the modern equivalent of a water cooler show. Of course, I see Sunday nights, because I usually don't watch it for a few days because of schedules. I will see through our various group chats, oh my gosh, this and that. I'm like, okay, I don't care. I don't like spoilers. Or we'll have the, oh my gosh, Daenerys.
Right.
I hate her, or what have you. So I see that, and then I hear it at work. And like, this is the weird thing. Is these are the same people, same coworkers that 2 years ago were, I think, the ones that were sitting up chatting about, reality TV.
It's weird. It's taken over.
It is really weird.
It's neat to be in that club.
Yeah.
Like, I was there first. You can join because we're cool.
Yeah. We're cool. Yeah. And I know definitely the people that have read the books, especially at the beginning, they are more and more like, right, it's cool stuff, right? You really should have joined this years ago.
Yeah. Rubbing it in our faces.
Yeah. And, like, I'm certain that there's people that I went to high school with that are into this show, the same ones that would give me a bad time about my D&D.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, like, and, like, even, like, stuff right now in my life on a Sunday is on the timetable of Game of Thrones.
Right.
Like, when we do our podcast is on Sunday. Yeah. The other one that I do. It is over by 6 o'clock our time, because that's when my friend time zone, that's when our co-host is Game of Thrones is on.
Only 2 more weeks.
Right. D&D does not start until a half an hour after Game of Thrones is over.
Hey, priorities.
Right, so it's really interesting. It's like, it's this bizarre cultural phenomenon, which goes back to, hey, these hackers were able to blackmail, HBO.
I love it.
It is really fascinating.
We have one question from the audience, which I think we can ask before we go into our question of the day.
Our question, right.
Of the podcast, not of the day. Do you think they will discuss him taking the dagger to his heart before he goes back to Winterfell for Jon Snow?
I think so.
I do. I think that's something he has that's like her, right? Mm-hmm. Like, she was the unburned, as they say 1,000 times in her title. He died.
He came back from the dead.
Yeah.
I think it'd be neat to kind of have that moment, too, of that conversation between them. And, something that Al had mentioned, that he thought, because of the way they acted, that maybe he did take the knee in the cave, which I think there's definitely a shift in their energy when they came out of there. If he did or if he didn't, that's who knows. However, I would like to have that kind of quiet moment where they kind of discuss what they have gone through to get there, to the point they're at. I would like that, because this is a character-driven show.
Agreed. So let's do our question of the week. We haven't decided if we're doing this weekly or bi-weekly, but we've had a lot of people on and a lot of interest. So if we can, maybe we can.
Well, let's definitely plan for next week, because after Tuesday, my week's strangely open.
Empty.
Yeah. Right.
So my question to you: give me your top 5 books.
American Gods.
Okay.
By Mr. Neil Gaiman. The Hero with 1,000 Faces by Joseph Conrad. Really? Wow. Campbell. And I can wax poetic about that and Power and Myth for hours, so don't ask me. And for God's sakes, never have Matt and I talk about Campbell. The Darkest Rising Sequence, which is a kids series by Susan Cooper, and it actually got me into King Arthur.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a really cool series. Let's see, we'd probably need to throw some Star Wars in there, but I kind of take that as a whole. I'm trying to think.
Take a whole.
Well, no, it's actually an old book that no longer exists. It's called I, Jedi. It's by Michael Stackpole. And it's actually the only Star Wars book I have read that's in first person.
Really?
And it takes place in... Oh, no, never mind. Scratch that. Because it reminded me of something. Lost Stars, which is another Star Wars book.
Okay.
Which is canon now.
Okay.
So this book takes place in parallel with... Is that Claudia Gray? I think it's Claudia Gray. It takes place in parallel with the original trilogy.
Okay.
But it is a guy and a girl that went to the academy.
Okay.
Started out as Imperials. And their view of the war from the Imperial point of view.
That's interesting.
Right, and then around the Battle of Hoth, I want to say, after the Battle of Hoth, he defects.
Mm-hmm.
And she stays Imperial, and he actually ends up saving her after the Battle of Jakku, and takes her, rescues her, and she eventually, I'm certain, will become a rebel. But it's really interesting seeing Star Wars from a different perspective and the story that you know.
I like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
It's really good, and it's funny because it's a YA book,
Yeah.
but it's really good. It's really good. All right, so one more. Oh. Okay, this is another weird one. Lamb, the Gospel according to Biff, Jesus' childhood friend, by Chris Moore.
I will put that on my to-do list.
It is the funniest, most. It is to Christianity as South Park is to society.
I can't wait.
So it is very, yeah. So it very much it's sweet and it's reverent and it's not and it's vulgar, because Jesus has this best friend that he that he convinces to do all the stuff that he wants to do.
That's awesome. Okay.
And they go on the search for the 3 wise men.
That's awesome.
And you learn the origin of Jewish people eating Chinese food on Christmas Eve.
I like it. That's a good list.
Yeah, I really highly recommend it. All right, so what are your top 5?
I'll do them in actual 5 to 1.
Okay. Ooh.
5 is The Monk, Matthew Gregory Lewis. It's an old book. I think it was published in 1796, I believe.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's a Gothic novel. It's the first Gothic romance I've ever read, and I read it in Gothic Imagination class.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
And it took my breath away. It was so good. I had to write a paper on it. I actually got an A on it, which was shocking because, like, I was reading it, just like, how can this be this good? And read The Monk. You'll love it.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. I'll put them into one because they're technically the same thing.
Right.
I loved them since I was little. The real books, not just the Disney movie.
Right.
Lewis Carroll.
Right.
Ender's Game.
Nice. Good choice.
By Mr. Scott Card.
Yep.
I know he might be a jerk, but his book is magic.
His books, yeah, no, that every time I've read anything by him, I'm like, God, I wish you weren't a jerk.
Yeah. And let me say, his book, the series, I've read the entire Ender's Game series and the Bean series. So I've read every single one of them, including the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
They get better and better and better.
Nice.
They're so good. So I recommend going past Ender's Game, going to like the 3rd and 4th book, just will blow you away.
Great.
Peccaninos in the 2nd book, love them. And I'm going to go with The Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman.
Yes.
Neverwhere was just, I read that in Gothic Imagination too. That's
I was
I
was about to say it's very Gothic.
Yep, that's where I met Neil.
Oh, How I Met Your Neil.
How I Met Your Neil. That book, I have this series, the BBC series.
Mm-hmm. I have it too.
Very good. That book just, you'd read it and I have like the feels. They're just there. Everything
it's gorgeous.
That happens. Beautiful.
It's thematic. It's modern yet it's not. It's familiar yet it's alien.
It's everything about that. Read the book. And my favorite book, and I've read this book 10 times now probably, like over and over. It's The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King. It's short. It's not Stephen King-y.
Right.
I wrote it in like 1999. It's more psychological. A girl gets lost in the woods, separated from her parents, and all she has is a radio with her, and she can listen to her favorite baseball player, Tom Gordon. And it's just...
Is it part of 4 Seasons?
No. It's done.
Okay.
It's done.
Yeah,
and it has a pop-up book, too.
Oh my goodness.
I need the pop-up book.
You do, yeah.
I remember being outside my house as a little kid with a huge stereo, trying to catch songs and record them on my cassette tapes, reading this book, and just over and over. I have the hardback edition, and it's just love it.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
It creeped me out. I love being creeped out.
Good. Right. Well, you can tell kind of what influenced your love of that genre between that and Alice in the Looking. Alice sounds like they're kind of learning to appreciate the darkness early.
Right. But in a different way. They approached it with kids. Like both Girl Love Tom Gordon's she's a preteen. Alice is 8.
Right.
It's very interesting how they did that.
Yeah.
So, and
very
Hyperion is great, Al. You were right. The Hyperion Cantos. Have you read any Hyperion?
I have not.
Very good. Recommend it. It's a long read, but it's good.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, this is our show. This is our first episode.
Please leave us feedback, guys.
Questions, comments.
bunch
All
of
of
questions, comments, on the Geeks and Geeklet feed. Where can we find you on Twitter?
At Sarindre, Sarindre.
Yeah, and I realized the end of that name rhymed yours today as I was typing it, so that was great.
That's adorable.
Yeah. Cyberwave, Cyberwaif, like Frank.
She's cool. F like Frank.
Yep. Well, you know. So yeah, find us on Twitter, tweet at us, let us know how you like the show. If you have any questions, suggestions for shows,
we're here.
We try to keep it kind of light because I think we both. It's nice to have very sparse notes and just talk.
I like to talk about things like this.
Yeah.
I will put this on podcast. It will be on our iTunes podcast next couple days or so. You can watch it back on YouTube. You can watch it on Twitch. All of it's available. And in a few minutes after I get a drink, I will start Thriller Thursday. So don't leave chat, you beautiful people. I want to talk to you while I'm scared.
I imagine not much actually scares you, my dear.
You've never seen me play Dead by Daylight.
There's that.
I get sweaty palms and I scream. It's a treat.
It's great. Sounds great. I need to make dinner because it's much earlier here than what it is with you.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you have a great night. It was wonderful.
You too, sweetie.
Thank you, everybody who watched. We love you.
Thank you, guys. And yeah, thanks for listening to our first show.
See you next week.
Bye.